Okay, now I'm going to talk about your closure. And basically, you'll see I have closures on these journals, and they're basically a line of cord, tied on a button. And if it's a shank button, you can tie directly onto the shank, but most of the buttons I use aren't shank buttons. And when you put it on the journal, you kind of have to hold it in place and wrap it around and then connect it and then adjust it as you go. I like to have it where all four of the cords are kind of make a crisscross. So how you actually measure a journal for a cord is that, first of all, you have to have cord. This is 1 millimeter cord of elastic. You can find in a craft store. This I got online, and it comes in this like rope. And what I do is I find a button that will match the journal. I try to. And I found these really cool felt buttons the other day that are kind of fun. And what I do with buttons is I find 3 or 4 that are real colorful, and I stack them on top of one another. So you could do that. You know, it's all up to your interpretation of what you want on that journal and what colors that you want to use. But you need at least 2 buttons, and we'll just do 2 for now because most people can find 2 buttons lying around. So on these cords that you get, there's an end that you have to find, and I just grabbed the wrong one. But anyway, so this is the end, and you take it and you have to wrap it twice around. So once, twice, and then you're going to cut it a little bit past twice the second time around. And that's all you'll need for that particular journal. If you were doing a horizontal journal, you would of course wrap it horizontally. So once you have measured your cord around your journal, you're going to feed through the bottom button first. And I do one side and the other side. So it's coming into the button this way. And then I do the same to the button that'll be on top of it. Because it's only 1 millimeter, most buttons have a big enough hole to go through that. And then when you're on the top button, you're just going to loop down into that second hole. You don't need to crisscross, just loop down. And then you're going to go back through the first button you threaded. The same way, so that they'll be stacked on top of each other. And then you're just simply going to tie a knot. And how I do this is just a double knot. We can adjust those cords in a minute. But I just take it, I wrap it around my fingers, and I put the cord through. And that's big enough, it won't go back through the hole. If you don't think if it is too little, and you think it'll go back through the hole, just tie it one more time so it's big enough not to go through the buttonhole. And then cut it. And then pull everything back through. And see, it gets caught on the button and won't go through those holes at all. So now you have the closure, and all you have to do is put it on your journal, hold it there, and close it up. Super simple, and it actually does keep it really tight from falling apart. I'm going to show you how to do a shank button though, because it's a little different. So I'm going to grab another piece of cording. Going to go around the journal twice again. And I'm going to look for a shank button here in my button. There's one. The problem with shank buttons is that the shank can push into your journal. So if you had one like this, it would be better because it wouldn't, it's closer and more blunt, so it won't poke a hole through your paper. That's kind of why I like to do the buttons without a shank on them. I'm going to go ahead and do that one. And this one I'm going to do a little differently. You're going to tie the knot first. And I did a double twist knot, so I forget what they're called, but you twist it twice and it makes a little I don't know, it makes a triple loop. So you have that, and when you have a shank button, you just need to have a big enough shank to make 2 pieces of the elastic go through. And then you simply put your tie through your loop, but you want it the other way around. Your loop through your tie, sorry. That way it hides the knot under the button. And there you have your closure, which will go around your journal the same way. So for my pirate journals here, I have a little map and it's on a shank button. So you can coincide the button with the journal. I also have one that has a little treasure chest.